Hello, welcome to a very special class. Today I've got a full-length Vinyasa flow for you. This is the actual class that I've been teaching in person this week. I'm going to suggest having a strap to hand. It's just for one of our warm-up postures. As we begin to open up through the shoulders, preparing ourselves to have a go at Pincha, our forearm stand. If you don't have a yoga strap, you could use something like a dressing gown belt or a rolled up t-shirt might work if we just want something that you're going to be able to hold with a pretty wide grip. When you're ready to begin, we'll start seated in Sukhasana, nice, easy, comfortable seat. If you like to sit up on the edge of a folded blanket or block, go ahead to elevate the hips above the knees. And as you're ready, closing down your eyes, soften shoulders down away from your ears. We'll begin our practice today with just a few centering breaths. So just taking a moment to arrive in your space. And just bringing your attention to your breath. No need to manipulate the breath in any way, just observing the quality that presents itself to you right in this moment. Perhaps adding a little visual as you breathe in, begin to send your awareness from the very base of your pelvis up the spine as you breathe in to the crown of the head. And then as you breathe out, directing your attention from the crown of the head all the way back down to the pelvis. Perhaps visualizing a small ball of light traveling up and down the spine as you breathe in and out. We'll begin with a very gentle movement to begin to warm up the spine, seated cat-cow. Feel free to keep the eyes closed, taking your hands over to your knees, shins or ankles. As you breathe in, lifting the heart, arching the spine slightly. And then as you breathe out, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. So we'll just take some nice, easy movements. We're just going to ease ourselves into this practice. Allowing your breath to lead the movement, grounding you here in this space. With each round, introducing a bit of a larger movement, getting the whole spine involved, rocking forward and back on the pelvis. Let's take one more full round. And return to a neutral spine. Slight add-on, we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, send the knuckles away, squeeze the shoulder blades together as you lift up your chest, lift your gaze. Couple breaths here, opening up through the shoulders as we prepare for our Pincha forearm stand. We want to have nice open shoulders. Release your fingers, interlace your fingers in front of you this time, palms facing toward your face, round through the upper back. We want to really protract the shoulders here. I'm just going to turn around so you can really get a visual of my upper back rounding. This protraction of the shoulders is something else we want to be really focused on in our forearm stand. And it's up to you if you want to hold in stillness or find just a little bit of movement wriggling from side to side. This might be where you're able to get into those really tight spots that are difficult to reach in the shoulders. Releasing that now, we'll just take a nice easy side bend. Notice if your sitting bones have lifted, just use that grounded hand to push yourself back. Hello, Bruce. And let's take that over to the other side. Are you going to join in, Bunny? You're just going to get fluff all over my black leggings. All right, this is where we're going to recruit our strap for our next one. So if you have the yoga strap, you want to take a nice wide grip. Or just grab whatever prop you have to hand. And we're simply reaching the strap behind and then back Don't mind me wiggling forward, I've not got a lot of space here. We want to be feeling some sensation here, but not too much. You want to be able to keep the arms straight with a little bit of tension in the strap. After a couple of rounds, notice if you can challenge yourself by taking a little bit more of a narrower grip. Opening up through the shoulders. We'll just take a couple more rounds of this. All right, this time, pause with the strap behind you at a place where you're feeling quite a bit of sensation, and we'll just hold here for a couple of breaths. Getting nice and open with the shoulders. I know this is not everybody's favorite stretch. I quite like it though, it feels quite good for me. You can let me know in the comments if you disagree. All right, let's release. You can take the strap off to the side. We won't need it again. And join me in a downward facing dog. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck the toes, lift up your hips, and just find any movement that feels good for you. Stretching out through the backs of the legs. And now find a place of stillness. We'll take our spinal waves from here. So on a breath in, you're going to wave the spine forward into plank pose. And then as you breathe out, a little arch in the low back as you wave on back. Let's take 2 more rounds, just like this. And let's come forward to plank once again, pausing in the plank this time. All right, shoulders over wrists, fingers spread wide. Press down for your knuckles and find that sense of protracting through the shoulders, almost like you're doming through the upper back. So I really want you to get used to the sense of protracting, as that's going to really help us in our forearm stand later. All right, from your plank, let's take a breath in. And then exhale, shift forward, bend through the elbows, lower onto your belly. Inhale, find your cobra. And then exhale, take it back to a downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale out the mouth. On your next breath in, left leg lifts up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, doming through the back, protract the shoulders, and then step your left foot in between the hands, back knee is lifted. Easy twist, plant the right hand down, twist to the left. Let's take a couple of wrist rolls with that left hand. All right, we'll find our horizon lunge from here. I'll cue it nice and slow the first time. The grounded hand, just move that forward about 1 hand print, and then roll onto the outside edge of your back foot like you were setting up for a side plank. Don't worry, you're not going there just yet. Your front foot is going to open up on a diagonal, and you'll sink your hips down to hover as you reach the left arm back, turning your gaze to the back of the mat. We'll hold here for a couple of breaths, stretching out through the obliques and the sides of the waist. And then on a breath in, let's reach the left arm up and over as we lift up the hips, high horizon. And then exhale to lower the hips to hover once again, this time lowering the hips all the way down. Shuffle yourself so you're facing the back of your mat. Right leg is extended. Let's take Janu Shirshasana from here. So placing the left foot to the inside of the right leg. Readjust your sternum to face over the extended leg. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, folding over that extended leg. Maybe you're reaching for the right foot, or maybe not. Slowly ease on up out of your fold. Baby wild thing, left hand plants on the mat behind you. Press the hips up, reaching your right arm up and back, rotating the chest up towards the ceiling. Really press your hips forward. And now right arm is going to reach towards the front of your mat. We're turning into a one-legged tabletop with the right leg lifted. Bend that knee up towards the ceiling and find a little tiger kick as though you're going to press your right foot on the ceiling, arching through the spine. Inhale here. Exhale, knee to nose round. 2 more rounds. And then lower the right knee down, take child's pose. Make your way back into downward facing dog. And we'll find those movements on the second side. On a breath in, right leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose, protract in the shoulders. Lower or bring right foot in between the hands. Take your easy twist. Circling out through the wrist. Horizon lunge. Sinking the hips down to hover, reach the right arm back. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, high horizon, right arm reaches up and over, press the hips up. And then exhale, horizon lunge, this time lowering the hips all the way down. Turn to face the back of your mat. Janu Shirshasana. Right foot to inside of the left leg. Just inhale to lengthen through the spine, turning to face that extended leg. And then exhale to fold forward. Maybe you're reaching for the foot, maybe you're not. Just landing where you land. Few deep breaths here. As you're ready, lift on up. Let's find that baby wild thing. Your right hand is planting down, left arm reaches up and back as we press through the hips. And now turning to face the front of the mat, one-legged tabletop. Let's find those tiger kicks and curls. 3 rounds. And once those 3 rounds are complete, make your way into child's pose. Take a little breather. All right, let's prepare to work a little bit more into the shoulders. Come on up into a downward facing dog. From the down dog, we want to find an energetic sense of hugging the shoulder blades together. Lower down onto your forearms, coming into dolphin. And then from your dolphin, lower the hips so you're in a forearm plank. Let's find that sense of pressing through the elbows to dome through the upper back, protracting the shoulders. And then send the hips up and back for dolphin. Let's inhale here. And then exhale, lower the hips, forearm plank. Reach the chin forward as though it's going to come all the way past the fingertips. And we'll repeat that action a few times. So sending the hips up and back, dolphin. And then lowering down into your forearm plank. Really try and keep protracting the shoulders the whole time. Core is nice and engaged. Working into the shoulders. This is probably our best preparation for Pincha, strengthening through the shoulders. Next time you're in your dolphin, pause there and begin to tiptoe the feet towards the elbows, turning your gaze forward. Really press down through the elbows to press through the shoulders. Let's hold here for a couple of breaths. And then lower the knees, child's pose. Take a breather. Let's come onto the hands and knees, finding puppy pose. Really melting chest down towards the mat. All right, let's come back up into downward facing dog. From this down dog, tiptoe all the way up into a ragdoll. Forward fold at the top of the mat. And we'll take our big toe pose from here. So you're wrapping your peace fingers around the big toes. Let's inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, take the elbows out wide as you fold deeply down towards your legs. Shifting the weight forward into the balls of your feet as best as you can. Inhale to lift up halfway. Pause, take your hands onto your hips, and then slowly rise all the way up to stand. Lowering your hands into Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, forward fold, bowing down. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins or fingertips to the mat. Exhale, plant your hands down and send the right foot all the way to the back of your mat. From here, a little bit of a double action. You're going to sweep the left leg back to three-legged dog, but lower down onto the elbows like we practiced in our dolphin. From here, see if you can bring that left knee to nose at the same time lifting back up onto your hands. Oh, it's a bit of an awkward movement. Let's inhale, three-legged dog, keeping up on the hands this time. And then exhale, knee to nose, step that left foot in between the hands. Easy twist. Move that right hand forward just a little bit, horizon lunge, facing the back of the mat. Inhale, high horizon. This time we'll turn all the way to face the other long edge of the mat for wide leg forward fold. Lift up halfway, plant your left hand down in front of the face, take a twist to the right. And now unwind from this twist, finding Skandasana at the back of the mat, bending deeply into the right leg. Maybe you're bringing your hands to your heart. Maybe you need to keep fingertips on the mat to stay grounded. And it's okay if the right heel is lifted here. Just stretching deeply into the hips. And now trying to keep as low as possible. Let's crawl our way forward to the top of the mat, finding that runner's lunge. Find your balance and come on up into high crescent lunge. Open twist from here, twisting to the left. And I'll sweep your left arm forward to meet the right. Right arm opens up to the back of the room, warrior two. On your next breath in, reversing your warrior. And let's wrap the right arm behind the back. Keep your half bind, straighten through the front leg, reverse triangle. Now uprighting your spine, let's set up for a triangle pose. Shortening your stance just a little bit. An option to keep that half bind as you reach forward with the left hand. And then placing it down onto the shin, or maybe you're Wrapping the peace fingers around the big toe. Wherever you are, we're rotating chest up towards the ceiling and turning your gaze up. Turn your gaze down, bend into that standing leg. Let's come up into a half moon pose, springing up, lifting that back leg. Option to take your hands to a block. Option to take sugarcane, bending into the lifted leg, reaching for the inner side of the foot. And then once you've got that grip, we're pressing the foot into the hand, lifting up the knee, finding a little bit of a back bend. If you have the foot, release it. Wherever you are, gracefully return into a warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down into easy twist. And find your side plank from here. Couple breaths, holding steady. And then turning down into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, find your upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Finding movement or holding still. Make your way to the top of your mat as you choose to do so, maybe tiptoeing, hopping, floating, coming into forward fold. Option to take peace fingers around the big toes again for big toe pose, or maybe this time sliding the palms underneath the feet, taking the toes all the way to the wrist crease. Wherever you are, inhale to find length in your spine, and then exhale to fold deeply. Release your hands from your feet. Inhale, lift up halfway. Take your hands to your hips and then slowly rise up to stand. From Tadasana, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back, runner's lunge. All right, from here we're finding that transition into three-legged dog, but lowering onto the forearms. Inhale, let's sweep that leg up, lower to the forearms. Exhale, knee to nose, lift back to hands. Inhale, three-legged dog, stay on the hands. Exhale, knee to nose, step the right foot in between the hands, easy twist. And let's find that horizon lunge, hovering the hips. On your next breath in, high horizon, this time transition to face the other long edge of the mat, wide leg forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Plant the right hand down in front of the face, take a twist to the left. Unwind from your twist and find Skandasana at the back of the mat, bending deeply into the left leg. Maybe you're taking your hands to your prayer. Maybe they're on the floor. Notice if Skandasana feels very different on this second side. It's very usual, very common for one hip to be a lot more open than the other. Let's keep things nice and low as we crawl forward to runner's lunge at the front of the mat. Find your balance and then reach your arms up into high crescent lunge. It's always okay if you lose your balance, you just gotta smile at yourself. All right, let's find that open twist to the right. And now sweeping the right arm forward to touch the left hand opens up, warrior two. On your next breath in, reversing your warrior, finding that half bind. Wrapping left arm behind the back. Keep your bind but extend through the front leg. And we'll set up now for triangle pose. Maybe you keep that half bind. Gazing up to the ceiling if that feels okay on your neck. Keep grounding down through both feet, keeping the legs nice and active. And now turn your gaze down. Let's make our way into half moon. Maybe you keep that half bind. And keep the gaze turning down towards your mat to help with your balance. Option to explore sugarcane from here, reaching for that back foot. Finding a little back bend. Wherever you are, gracefully, if balance will allow you, make your way into warrior two. Take another breath in here. And then as you exhale, cartwheeling all the way into easy twist. And make your way into a side plank. Oh, couple breaths. Nice and strong in your core. Return to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Option to take a little break if you need, lowering the hips down, finding child's pose. Maybe you take a water break. All right, we're at that point in class where we are warm, shoulders should be open, core should be turned on. We've also opened up through the backs of the legs, so we are prepped, we are ready for trying our forearm stand pincha pose. I'm going to suggest having a wall space nearby, so feel free to pause this video if you need to just rearrange your setup to have a little bit of wall space. And as you're ready, we're going to turn to face the wall and come back up into that dolphin pose. Remember, we want to be protracting the shoulders, really doming through the upper back. So lowering onto the forearms, finding that sense of doming through the upper back, and we want to have this action of pressing down through the elbows the whole time. From here, let's tuck the toes, lift up the hips, and we'll begin to tiptoe the feet in towards the elbows. We ideally want to walk as far in as we can to lift the hips as best we can to stack the hips over top of the shoulders. It might not be possible, but as best as we can. Look forward, so you want to have your gaze towards the thumbs, and then from here maybe we try lifting up one leg, lowering it down, lifting up the other leg and lowering it down. You can keep practicing like that, lifting the legs alternately, or we can try taking a couple of little hops, seeing if we can catch our balance. So let's try kicking up a couple times, maybe catching balance. So just little hops. Whoop. Maybe hop all the way and hit the wall. Keep pressing down through the elbows. All right, feel free to pause this video if you want to spend a bit more time practicing your Pincha forearm stand. Otherwise, when you've had enough, let's come into a well-deserved child's pose, reaching the hands back towards the heels. All right, come on up to a seat. And we'll begin to cool ourselves down. Extend through the left leg and cross the right ankle over top. We can stay here in a seated pigeon, or maybe you can try double pigeon, stacking the shins. If we're taking double pigeon, you want to have the top leg, the foot wants to be completely overhanging the bottom knee. If there's a bit of a gap between the knees, you can pop a prop in there. But if there's any pain in the knees, please find a different pose. We don't want to be hurting our knees. Maybe you have the range to fold forward from here. And just taking a moment to give yourself some grace and self-compassion for whatever did or did not happen. Pincha is a pretty tricky pose. I certainly have not perfected it, and I have been practicing for years and years and years. Just keep showing up, keep practicing, and you'll make progress. All right, let's switch the sides. Setting up to come into the hip stretch that works for you. Maybe you're folding forward. Wherever you are, breathing deeply. All right, come on up. Scoot forward so you have some space behind you and come to lie down on your back. I'm going to come up into a shoulder stand from here. I want to really snuggle the shoulder blades together. If you already know that shoulder stand is not for you, we can just lift the legs up. Or if you're coming with me, bend the knees into the chest, and then you're going to roll up to lift the hips. Take your hands to the low back, extending the legs up. Point for your toes. If you feel like the back of your neck is pressing into the mat, that's an indication that you might need a little bit of elevation from a folded blanket underneath the shoulders. Option to stay in your shoulder stand, or maybe finding plow pose, taking the legs behind the head, placing your feet down on the mat behind you. Toes are tucked or untucked, up to you. Maybe you're interlacing your fingers. If you're in plow pose, bend into the knees. Take your hands back to your low back. And then we're just going to slowly roll down the back to lower the legs. And we'll take fish pose as a counter. Coming to lie back. Resting down onto the elbows. Pressing into the elbows to lift up your chest. And very gently place the crown of your head down onto the mat. There should be barely any weight in the head, but you're pressing down through the elbows, pointing through your toes, opening up through the chest and throat. Keep pressing your chest up to the ceiling. And let's release, lower down. Hug your knees into chest. And just take a little gentle rock from side to side. Keep your right knee hugging in, extend the left leg out long. And let's take a twist. Crossing knee over the body. Opening the right arm out to the side and turning your gaze to the right. Unwind and find your twist on the second side, hugging left knee in. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, unwind, make your way into Shavasana. Allow yourself to completely soften. Releasing all the gripping, the holding, the action, the work. Coming into a place of complete surrender, complete rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Becoming aware of the physical body once again. Find some movement in fingers and toes. And just gently reawakening the body, bending into your knees, coming to roll onto one side, and just pausing there for a moment. Eventually pressing your way up into a seat, keeping your eyes closed. Palms face down on your knees. Shoulders softening down away from the ears. Bring your hands to touch in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh out your mouth. Gently bowing forward to close our time together. Thank you so much for joining me. If you made it all the way to the very end, I am so proud of you. And can you do me a favor by showing your support, giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and as an added bonus, leave a comment below to let me know what you thought of this class, and if you have any suggestions for other types of classes you would like, if there are any particular poses you want to work on, just let me know. And I'll see you very soon.